Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it just like the sunrise. We gonna let it rain. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it just like the sunrise. We gonna let it rain.
Hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. I have to do this right away, but I have to blow my nose. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. Let me know if it's allergy season where you guys live, because it definitely has hit me like a ton of bricks the last couple of days, like the last 3 days. I'm so sorry about that, guys. I'm so sorry. Like right when I get on the live, I blew my nose like 14 times before the live. So don't come for me in the comments, please don't. I keep thinking today's Tuesday, but we're still stuck on Monday. We're still stuck on Monday over here. And I don't have my other screen up, but that's okay. I don't think I need it. But we are going to go over the David case tonight, or D4VD, whatever you want to call them. And Celeste. We're going to go over her case tonight. But welcome in. It's good to see everybody. Hey, Ladybug. How are you doing? Hey, Crime Kitty. We got Dawn in here. Now I feel like I'm congested. Now I feel like I sound like I am. And you guys were just chatting it up. Hey, Christy, how you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. Hola, baby girl. Hey, Casey. I'm hanging in there. If you're asking me, I don't think you're asking me, though. I think you guys were talking in the chat. Christy said, I'm hanging in there. She said, how are you? I decided I was going to go ahead and be like, I'm hanging in there, you know. I was going to say the same thing, Ladybug. I think it's because the allergies. Like, I don't think I'm really tired. I think it's just the allergies that are going. Like, we live in like a valley, and so they say that they get really bad here. I never had them as bad until I moved here. Hey, Tony. And of course, your girl's allergic to the old Zyrtec. Really? Allergy medicine? I found that out the wrong way. Hey, Tracy. Really? You have them bad there too? It's crazy. I never had them until like all this surgery, this happened. Then I started getting allergies, but they were fine when I lived like up north in the city. In the city, they were fine. It's this little small towns. Hey, Maga Mama. Ooh, that sounds like fun, baby girl. See, you sound like me. Wash in the tub and then you take a hot bath. See, that's my kind of girl right there. Vincent just gets in there. He doesn't even rinse it. I'm like, let me rinse this for you. I clean our both of our like bathrooms like throughout the week, but once a week I do the deep cleaning. And he'll just get in. He don't mind. Oh, did you win? Did they win, Ashley? Did they win the game? And hey, Tony, I don't know if I said hey to you. Change of weather, yeah. That's what it is. It's the change of weather and like the pollen's all coming off the trees. Vincent was like, "Is that pollen?" The other day, I was like, "Yeah, that's it." Yeah. He's like, "All this stuff in the air, you could just see it just floating." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what that is." It's fibromyalgia. Yeah, I don't have fibromyalgia, but they can't figure it out. I'm like, "It's called nerve damage, guys. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just a lot of it. That's a lot of it." So I'm going to put up some pictures. I've been putting them on the overlays. It's been like the last few nights. It seems like it's a little easier than just like clicking through. But I'm going to put up some pictures of who we're talking about. We're talking about Celeste, of course, and David D4VD. This case, we've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks now. It's an ongoing investigation into the death of, when she died, 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose decomposed remains were discovered in the trunk of a Tesla registered a 20-year-old musician. This guy here, David Anthony Burke, also known professionally, in his professional career as David D4VD. She was found in his car in Los Angeles. Celeste Rivas Hernandez was first reported missing on April 5th, 2024, at age 13 from Lake Elsinore, California. And that is about 70 miles southeast of Los Angeles. She had a history of running away. She had run away from home 3 times just in the year of 2024. So social media footage later surfaced showing her live streaming and interacting with David months before her disappearance, including at events. So on September 8th, this is September 8th, 2025, the day after Celeste's 15th birthday, authorities discovered her severely decomposed body in the front of the car. There was a foul odor that was reported from the impound lot where she was at. The impound lot in Hollywood, they call the police. They come and they find her body. The Los Angeles medical examiner hasn't determined the cause or manner of death. They're waiting for toxicology records, toxicology results, actually, before they make a ruling. So that's what we're kind of waiting on. Kind of waiting on those things to happen. But I do have some stuff tonight. LAPD did make a statement. Now it kind of, I'm gonna read it to y'all and you tell me what y'all think about it, because I don't know. I feel some sort of way about it. But just the wording, I don't know. So we'll go over that. Also, I always tell Vincent, I'm like, I'm gonna not tell them what I'm gonna talk about in the show. But I like doing that at the beginning. It's like I don't know. I don't know what it is. That fan, it could be like this fan blowing on me too. It was like blowing right on me. Okay. We're going to talk about the LAPD statement. We're going to talk about how long they think she was possibly in the trunk of that car or frunk of that car. TMZ has some developments that we'll go through. And then Dr. G decided to weigh in, and I was hoping he would. And he weighed in on that live stream before the murder happened. So the one where she is talking to him on the Twitch stream. Now, I don't know. This whole other Celeste girl that looks just like her, it's freaking me out. It's freaking me out. I don't know who I'm seeing when I'm seeing pictures of these two girls now. I feel like they look that much alike. Like, when we get to the Dr. Grande video, like where I have it paused, I don't is it really, is it her? Is it Celeste Rivas Hernandez? Or is it the other Celeste Herrera? I think is her last name. I'm just like, my brain is hurting. This case is making my brain hurt. They look so much alike. It's scary. And then we're going to do a live over that because I was going back over the timeline and she comes into the picture. Actually, I went back up, so let me go find it. And like, I want to say June or July from what we know, June 2nd. So, I mean, she could have been in his life before then. I don't know. That's just when we know of for sure. Like, you know, the pictures tell us she looks a lot like her, though. They look very similar. So actually, let me just, well, I'll pull up the picture before we go over that. That way it'll be fresh in our mind. Okay. So let me see. Everything's backwards on here today. So there we go. It was like backwards day there. So this is a statement from the LAPD. I'm just trying to figure out if I can. Okay, there it is. My little things are kind of not in good order. There we go. Okay, so this came out today. Robbery Homicide Division. Investigation into the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So it says here, Hollywood, the Los Angeles Police Department Robbery Homicide Division has been diligently investigating the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez over the past several weeks. At this time, we can confirm that Celeste Rivas Hernandez is deceased and her body was found in the front trunk area of a Tesla belonging to David Burke. The vehicle had been parked at the location from which it was towed for several weeks. So Miss Rivas Hernandez may have been deceased for several weeks before the discovery of her body. And I do have, where the heck did it go? Oh, it's over here. I do have all of his different tour dates listed. Actually, I did delete it. I don't know why I deleted that out of here. That wasn't it. Okay, here it is. I was like, did it not save? It saved. Okay. Just making sure. It says here that the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner has not yet determined the cause or manner of Miss Rivas Hernandez's death. As such, it remains unclear whether there is any criminal culpability beyond. Now, this is what I want to read to you, and I want you guys to listen to this part. Like, really good. Okay. As such, it remains unclear whether there is any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body. So what they're saying is they don't know if this is a homicide. Maybe this could just be like the worst criminal, like the criminal would be called the concealment of her body would be the criminal charges. So to me, I'm like, well, why are we not talking about the dating a minor, living with a minor? Like, she was 13, maybe 12 when they met. I told y'all this. I told y'all like a couple lives ago, if there's no homicide in this case, I said, I bet you there would not be any charges. Like, I don't have any faith. I just don't. I hope they do. But it says that the RHD is thoroughly examining every aspect of this case to uncover the truth and seek justice for Celeste Rivas Hernandez and her family. So we appreciate the public's patience and understanding as we continue this investigation. Further updates will be provided as appropriate, but not at this time. We're unable to answer additional questions. Or I would have asked. I mean, I would like write and ask that question. Call. Because it just says it remains unclear whether there's any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body. Now, me see. Wonder what you get for that. Like, what's that? Okay. In California, actively concealing an accidental death is a misdemeanor offense under the Penal Code 152, punishable by up to 1 year in county jail and or a fine of $1,000 to $10,000. So that's a lot better than life in prison, if you ask me. So it just says up here, Celeste, I keep wanting to say Celeste. Celeste Rivas Hernandez was likely dead for several weeks before being found in David's Tesla trunk. So I don't know where he's been. I don't know if he's back with his family. If I was him, that's where I would be, but I don't know if he's allowed to leave the state. But I don't know if he's not allowed to not leave the state, right? Like, I guess he would have to ask investigators if he was allowed to, like, hey, I'm packing up all my stuff. Can't live there anymore. It's just too many people know about it. I don't know. Like, know, what I mean? Like, know where I live. I could see him saying, I could see that being a thing. Sorry. Last time when I put my glasses on, it seemed like it felt better. Like my allergies didn't do so bad. Okay. So basically, what this says and what we need to know, we kind of just read it in that statement, but it says that the Los Angeles Police Department believes that the body of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the 14-year-old girl who was found dead inside a Tesla belonging to musician David, had been in the car for several weeks before it was discovered. So like July, June, but I wonder what they mean by several weeks. And that means he wouldn't have been on tour. His tour started, actually I lied. He was in so he started April 27th. Oh no, that was just one show. Okay. I have all of the shows, sorry. So August 5th, Del Mar, California. He completed a good amount of them. I have by completed and canceled. So yeah, so it's kind of like, if that's several weeks before that, then he would have been home. I can't wait for them to have the video. I can't wait for them to maybe release the videos if they have, surveillance. And I was thinking about something today. When you have a Tesla, it will alert the driver when somebody is close to their vehicle and their cameras turn on. So he would have got that alert on his phone. That's his vehicle, right? Like his phone is probably hooked up to it. He would have got that alert on his phone wherever he was at. So in my mind, he would have some sort of idea of who was moving the car around and who was putting somebody in black plastic or a black bag, we've heard both, into the front trunk of that car. Perhaps. I think we would. And welcome in, everybody. Yeah, August 5th for the tour. So, he played August 5th. Well, we can go through this. August 5th, 6th, 8th. So, 7th, Phoenix, Arizona. If you got every picture that I've seen him in front of, there's this little charter plane. If he's in front of a plane, it's this little private charter kind of plane. I don't know. But he played on the 9th, the 12th, the 13th, the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, the 19th. And these are all out further. Philadelphia. I don't think that he was Columbus, Ohio. And then this is when they started canceling. So September 16th, they found her, on the 8th? So we've got the 9th, the 10th, the 12th, the 13th, the 15th, the 16th. That's not good. I mean, I wonder if it was true about the Labubus or if that was just a rumor, like him throwing the Labubus, into the crowd and stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know. Some people are able to still I'm not taking up for him or anything, but some people are still able to perform even if they get like really bad news. Like they're able to like, keep it going, but I mean, having a girl dead in the front trunk of your car that at least we know her, we know you probably were dating her. I mean, come on. And even if you were on tour or you were at the club or wherever you were, you would have got like that. I feel like that you would have got that alert. And I think you would have known. And if you didn't know and you were on tour and they told you, or wherever you were when they told you, you would think that, I don't know. You think we would have heard about a reaction by now? Like, he must have been just like hanging out by himself when all this happened. This case makes my head spin. It really does. Because that other Celeste girl looks so much like her. They look like they could be twins. Like, I mean, one looks older, obviously, but in certain, like, I don't know, in certain videos or pictures I see, and they say that that's Celeste Rivas, it almost looks like the other Celeste. So, but we'll look at that later. We'll figure that out. We'll figure out which one of these is which pictures is which. So, is a speaking with people, LAPD captain and commanding officer Scott Williams said that while many questions remain about the death of Rivas Hernandez, whose body was found inside the car in a Los Angeles parking lot on September 8th, we know for sure that Celeste Rivas Hernandez died and that someone placed her body in the front trunk area of David Burke's Tesla. Like, it's weird they don't have like, I wish they could. They said something like, we have warrants out for Tesla and all that. Like, they can't really. They probably can't say that, but they probably can. We know that the Tesla had been parked at that location from which it was towed for several weeks. So it is very likely Celeste Rivas Hernandez had been dead for several weeks prior to her body being discovered. Yeah, and we saw SF Investigates his pictures. I mean, that car was dirty. I think that if the car was dirty at the time and they placed her in the car, you would be able to see fingerprints on the front of that car from where they put the trunk down. I just feel like there would be more fingerprints on that car. Maybe from when they were driving it, like on the door handle and such. And we didn't really see anything like that. It just looked really dirty. So, it says the Los Angeles medical examiner has not determined a cause or manner, so we don't know for sure if anyone has any criminal culpability for her death beyond the concealment of her dead body. Okay. And it says there's that, robbery homicide is still probing the case. And somebody asked this, and I thought it was a pretty good question. It was on like X or something I saw the other day. They asked if her necklace was found with her. Like this one here, she's wearing it in like every picture that we've really seen her in. Like a lot of the pictures that are on like Facebook and stuff that I've seen, she's wearing this necklace. I'm just kind of curious if it was found like with her. It didn't say on there that they found a necklace, but I don't know. It just sad. Seems like it was something important to her, Okay. So Williams also confirmed that the LAPD did serve a search warrant at the residence near where the car was towed. A landlord previously told, I think that's SF Investigates, that D4VD 20 had been staying at an LA property with his manager, but that the two moved out days after electronics and more were seized from the home per the outlet. Williams told people that he cannot confirm what was taken from the property. Additionally, speculation has circulated online about the possibility of a relationship between Rivas Hernandez and the romantic homicide singer, as the teen seemingly had a matching tattoo on her right index finger, citing the medical examiner allegedly similar to the one on David. But Williams said, as far as their relationship, it would be premature for me to say anything. He said, we are looking into everything. That's the captain. Okay, Captain. The LAPD would not confirm that David was cooperating with the investigation. That's kind of you think he'd confirm that? Like, yeah, he's cooperating. Like, David has not been named a suspect or charged with a crime in relation to this case. His representatives has not responded to multiple requests for comment from people. I don't know if that's, I mean, that's probably what he should be doing, just keeping his mouth shut. But Rivas Hernandez was found dead in the impounded Tesla one day after her 15th birthday, while David was on tour in the U.S. Well, the car was reported abandoned in the Hollywood Hills, and neighbors told NBC Los Angeles it had been there for about a month. See, it made it seem like that it was only there for a few days and it was like towed. You know what I mean? Like, but now we're hearing no, it was there for a lot longer than that. I mean, that's a long time. Officers responded to the scene after a foul odor was reported coming from the vehicle registered to the 20-year-old singer, whose full name is David Anthony Burke. Rivas Hernandez was first reported missing on April 5th, 2024, the Riverside County Sheriff's Office told Los Angeles Times. I didn't know that she ran away also on Valentine's Day. I was like, well, to me, that would make sense if you were in a relationship with someone and you're running to that person on Valentine's Day. I mean, now that would make sense. The Riverside County Sheriff's Office said Rivas Hernandez had been reported missing from Lake Elsinore, California, at least 3 times in 2024. And residents claim the teen had run away from the home before, though her last known whereabouts remain unclear. Well, she was probably in that house. I mean, if she ended up in that car, if she's dismembered, and that's what we've been hearing, then in my opinion, that would have had to have happened somewhere where they felt comfortable enough to do something like that. In my opinion. Whether that be the house or maybe it could have been a hotel, and then they just put her in the front and they drove the car back to the house and they parked it. I mean, we don't know. We don't know. Hey, Connie, thank you for being a member for 2 months. Habitual runaways, yeah. Man, and we saw the video and she was literally running, like, and I think the reason why she did run, like she was jogging, or whatever, she was like, running kind of, or whatever she was doing, I think that she did that because she lived right on that block, and I think that her bus might have been coming, and so she went either the bus driver to see her or her parents to see her, or both. It could have been both. Okay, so let's watch what they've got. Oh, look at that. Maga Mom has been a member for 3 months. Well, welcome on in. Welcome on into this fam. You guys are the best. Thank you for being a member. They have another new video, Tracy. I can't keep up with them today. Hold on. Let me go over there. I think I have that one. I think so. Yeah, I think that's the one I was going to play. Okay, yeah. I think actually we'll switch it because, like, this one's 2 hours ago. This one's 6 hours ago. Okay. So there's 2 videos that came out from, our good friends over at TMZ. They have been, like, not messing around when it comes to this case, which is good because, We need that. They did like a little small like segment today, like within like their like, their like major show or whatever, their whole show. So I thought we would go over that. It's right where it needs to be, I think. And then we'll go over the newest one that just came out a couple hours ago. So, and then we will, I'm going to show you a picture of the inside of David's car and him getting out of it and how clean he kept that thing. And then we'll listen to Dr. G because I haven't got to listen to that one yet. And I want to listen to that with you guys. I just saw it like right before I came on live. So I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Is she really? Blue Frog? Is she really? Probably wanting to be on that TikTok or something. Probably like, I'm out of here. That was like quick. Okay. If you guys don't mind, take a second, hit the like button for me. I don't even think I asked you guys to do that yet. I was just over here in my own world, getting you guys the news. Also, if you'd like to become a member of our wonderful channel, I'll put the link in the chat and I'll pin it up at the top. And thanks again, ladies, for being a member for so long. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's see what they got to say here.
The girl running in this video is Celeste Rivas, the teenager whose dismembered body was found earlier this month in the trunk of singer David's Tesla. The surveillance video, taken in March of last year from a liquor store near where Celeste lived, shows her running away from home.
I just realized, why is that security camera up so high? Like, isn't that pretty high? Oh, like, it just looks high to me. I mean, it's just me.
Of last year from a liquor store near where Celeste lived shows her running away from home.
So one of the times Celeste ran away, her sister was looking for her, so went to the liquor store to see if the surveillance cameras had picked up Celeste.
Meantime, new pictures of David's Tesla taken before the car was towed and before the discovery of the body.
This private investigator, Steve Fisher, obtained the vehicle impound report and photos, actually, of David's Tesla. So it sets a little bit of a timeline. The original complaint about the car was called in on August 26th.
A cop writes a ticket on the 27th. Another ticket is issued more than a week later, September 3rd. The car is towed September 5th, and Celeste's body is discovered September 8th.
If they were calling to complain on the 26th, that means it had been there for a while.
This timing is shocking.
So the 26th, and they're saying it was there for like a month. So that'd be like July 26th, like the end of July. I mean, nobody would smell anything. I mean, I guess not. I guess you might not if you pull into your, like, your 3-car garage or whatever it is, you might not.
So this car sat for probably 2 weeks.
But in all that time, there is no mention of any odor emanating from the car.
We don't know when the body went in.
Could have been planted later.
But David was on tour at the beginning of August and never came back here as far as we know.
His tour started August 5th in Del Mar.
Del Mar's not far.
The tour is not necessarily an alibi.
So, we know David knew Celeste. Friends assumed she was his girlfriend. Investigators searched for blood evidence in the house David was living in, very close to where the car was abandoned. But police have not officially named any suspects.
And there are a lot of people saying this is very suspicious for David.
He's also an easy person to frame.
Exactly.
To do that and then leave the body in your car outside the house you're living in.
And let it sit until it gets towed.
Well, as far as murder cover-ups go, we've seen dumber, but anything's possible.
Her body was chopped up.
That's why I'm like, could it be David or is it someone else? Because we've seen Wilder. We've seen people's Google searches. Criminals are dumb. Not they can be, they are. They are. I mean, look at Kohberger. He left the knife sheath at the freaking crime scene. Didn't even kill the first person and he left the knife sheath there.
If he's capable of that, we don't know. He's also a psychopath. Then he's capable of not thinking through it.
Look, I don't know who did it, but it's weird.
So Armie Hammer was out in Westwood with a young lady. They left a sushi joint. They were spotted going through like somewhat of a farmer's market type area. There was no PDA. Obviously,
Of course, right when I like blow my nose. Well, I was like, watch
he's
this for a
been
second.
through his stuff in previous relationships.
Can I tell you, Armie Hammer is not a cannibal. It's
Of
just
course he's not.
ridiculous. He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Well, no, hold on. I'm making a point. He is a.
I'm sorry, that made me laugh too. Okay. Okay, so we'll move on to this one, and then after this, I'll show you the inside of his car, and then there was like I think something else I wanted to show you guys too before we got to Dr. Grande. Okay. Thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate it so much. If you guys don't mind, hit the like button. If you don't like the content, hit the dislike. It's all engagement here, but don't do that. Don't do that. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do that. We do talk true crime here every evening. So we talk different cases, different evenings. So if that's something you are into, make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell icon. I'm afraid to fast forward it.
Welcome to TMZ Live. We have a lot of new information on the death of Celeste Rivas, who was found dead in the trunk of Singer David's car. To start with, what is clear is that the authorities have not yet determined how she died, and that is going to be a critical component. Was it foul play or some other cause?
Right. Well, the death certificate was released today by the LA County Medical Examiner's Office, and it reveals something very interesting. It addresses one of the longstanding rumors about this case.
Yes.
About Celeste being pregnant. The ME's office says she was not pregnant at the time of death.
Okay, so yeah, I meant to tell you guys that. So she was not pregnant. So I know a lot of people were wondering, and they're kind of speculating whether or not she could have been pregnant. I don't know if they say it here, but they test whatever they did, however they did their test. And when we heard Joseph Scott Morgan, he said maybe if they had the uterus, was that it? I think that's what it was, or the cervix. Maybe it was the uterus, but that they could tell if she was pregnant or not. I think that's what it was, the uterus. And then so they could tell that she wasn't pregnant, and she wasn't pregnant within the last year. So they could test up to like a year. I don't know if they could test longer than that. I don't think they could. They tested up to a year though. She hasn't been pregnant in the last year. So, I mean, that shows this wasn't because so whatever happened to her wasn't because she was pregnant. I mean, no matter what happened to her, she doesn't deserve to be put into a front trunk of a car, right? No matter if it was an OD or what. But I would think that if it was a strangulation, the hyoid bone would be there and it would be broke. If it was a gunshot, I would think that they would be able to test some of the organs if there was anything left, maybe the skin if there was anything left, but the bones, if it hit bones, they'd be able to test that, the breakage of a bone. If it was a stabbing, they'd be able to see like maybe the cut, if it hit a bone or something that was still there. I just feel like, other than maybe suffocation, but even then, maybe they could tell that. So they really are having, some troubles.
And then the other thing we were looking for here was that cause of death, which we know is critical.
Because listen, if it's not foul play, just as an example, and we don't know, it could be a drug overdose, it could be natural causes.
Right. And then that the body was cut up after.
But then there's no homicide.
Right.
And so they don't even know for sure whether there's a homicide. And the medical examiner is still trying to determine what caused Celeste to die.
Right. On the death certificate, it says deferred as far as cause of death and manner of death.
There are toxicology reports that usually take a couple of months. And since the body has been returned to the family, The only thing that would seem to be outstanding that's major are these toxicology results.
Right.
And like you were saying, Harvey, it's critical because I talked to the police this morning. They need that component. It's a huge component. How did she die? They don't know yet. There's only so much they can do in their investigation. So at this point, they're not looking for a person of interest. They're not looking for a suspect because they don't know that there will be one.
What's interesting about that, though, is that there are certain markers that would tell you right away, is it foul play? I mean stab wounds.
There's certainly
a gunshot, a strangulation.
But the body was such awful shape. I mean, she could have been identified through dental work for all we know.
But
actually-
they're
I think she actually was. Like, I think she was. That's how they identified her, was through her dental. I think we read that.
even if she didn't die of foul play, there's foul play here.
I'll look it
I
up.
mean, the body was dismembered.
Well, but there's
right. So I know it's different level of. It's not.
It's a huge difference. Is it murder or is it cutting up a body? And those are two very
different charges.
Yeah,
both very disturbing.
both very disturbing, but one way worse than the other, undeniably.
We
Certainly.
know that this is a complicated, and my source used that word, complicated case. They're going over all the evidence they have right now, which includes going over everything they found in the Tesla, data for video, and they're trying to figure out what exactly is going on here.
So
But
this is
now-
where it gets really interesting. They called it a complicated case, and they have data. If you see, now they have cameras on these Teslas. If you could see somebody
Walking up to the Tesla with a bag
Yes.
that they then placed in the car, you seem like that's the person you got to, at the least,
and it ain't complicated.
right. That
But
part doesn't seem complicated.
Yet
So
there's
what's-
there's something more that we don't know.
They actually have data from the Tesla, right?
they told me that they've got a lot of evidence that includes the data from
That they didn't have to go to Tesla to subpoena.
Correct, and they're going through all of that to see if it will yield a clue. They were very forward with, they don't know yet exactly what all is there. They are still going through
The
all
one
of it.
thing they also said to us that I think is really relevant is they are examining the relationship between Celeste and David.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is something that everyone has been talking about also because she was 14 at the time of her death. How much did David know about her actual age? And what was the actual nature of the relationship? We know that we've spoken to people who partied with them who said that they certainly presented as boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
But
And they were shocked that she was that age. They thought she was a student at USC.
Now, this part, okay. Now and I'm not trying to take up, I'm just trying to figure this. I'm just trying to figure out things from it's crazy to me, right? Because if that Celeste was telling them that she's 19, she could have been too. But what do you think that they could have actually, those people that are talking about this Celeste that's 14, that they really in fact met the other Celeste that's older, that looks just so much like the other girl? I mean, it's, to me, unless they knew her last name, which when I meet new people, I don't tell them my last name. I don't even tell the internet my last name. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy. This whole case is crazy.
18 or 19.
Right.
So look, here's where we are right now. They are waiting, and I got to say, I'm a little bit confused that if the body is decomposed and they can't see physically what it is that caused her death, I'm not sure a toxicology report necessarily shows that. A toxicology doesn't show if somebody's
not going to
strangled.
show, right.
It just
So
doesn't.
what more are they going to determine?
If you're strangled, it would.
toxicology that would lead to
If you're strangled, it would. Your hyoid bone would be broke.
the manner of death. Certainly, I don't think toxicology is going to show manner of death. I guess it
Could
show
for overdose.
right.
Correct.
It could for overdose.
Right.
But again, we don't know. And I don't know whether there are enzymes still or some way of, if there's a heart attack or something like that. But they're just saying, we don't know. And I think it's so interesting.
Okay, she didn't have a heart attack, Harvey. She's 14. I don't think she would, but
They're saying this is complicated. And it brings me to something that I was talking to Mark Garrigus about on her Two Angry Men podcast, which is, and I'm not, again, we don't know who did it, what happened, if anybody did it. But there are a lot of people saying it had to be David. And people are saying it just had to be David. And we talked about this in the podcast, that you got to be careful here, because what if David is, and again, these are hypotheticals. What if David is being framed? I mean, how easy would it be to
How old is
say
David?
he's dating this 14-year-old
small.
girl? He's writing songs about her. So you put her in a Tesla parked right by his house.
You put it in his Tesla.
His Tesla.
Right.
Right
Parked by his house.
his house.
Right.
And you leave it there and abandon it, knowing it's going to be found. Would he do that?
I get your point that looks far too obvious, right?
Yeah.
It's so on the nose that he couldn't possibly have done something like that.
Well,
Again, we always say that, but we're talking about someone, you're putting rational thought on someone who's done the most irrational thing. So
Yes.
whoever it is that did it, you can't necessarily assume that they are thinking rationally.
Here's the problem I have with that. The LAPD is now saying the body was there for several weeks.
Yes.
Now, again, we don't know when the body was put in the Tesla. The car was there for several weeks, and I think they may be making an assumption it was in that trunk for the 2 weeks that the car was parked there.
Sure.
But maybe it went in the car at some point after, but after it was parked. But what if it's in there for 2 weeks? You're right that somebody who does something that horrendous might be out of their head and they just leave it. But then there are 2 weeks to move that car.
Mm-hmm.
Why wasn't it moved?
Well, I mean, the other part of this is that David was out of town for a good portion, if not, well, actually, definitely most of August. We know he was on tour as of the beginning of the month,
but not
actually,
that far.
at
Not
the
that
end of
far
July.
from not that far from LA. In a
But
couple
the
of
early
situations.
dates were not far from LA. They were in San Diego area, San Francisco, and Phoenix.
Right.
All areas that you can easily, within a day or less, get back to LA. So,
And the other thing, by
I
the
don't
way,
know if those work as great alibis for him, but it complicates things, right?
one other thing that I was told the day after the body was found, and this is a quote: a lot of people had access to that Tesla. That's from somebody connected to all of this, and maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But if they did,
Well, that would definitely complicate matters.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Diamond in Dallas. Now
Oh,
listen,
Diamond.
something is not adding up. With David, my question is this. How come he has not at least been brought in to question? That's it. Clearly, David is connected to Celeste. So something is just not adding up. Why is it taking so long just to bring him in, to ask him a few questions?
well, let me just say that
If you're his
any
attorney.
decent criminal defense lawyer would probably say, we're going to pass on that offer.
Right. They don't bring him in unless you name him a suspect. He's not coming in.
And if they name him a suspect, you really don't bring him in.
Right.
Well, that sucks, doesn't it? Then you really don't bring them in. No. I mean, yeah, they do tell you to keep your mouth shut. And I mean, and that's what he's doing, right? I mean, I haven't seen him anywhere. Have you guys seen him out anywhere? I tried to look up stuff. I couldn't find him like on any, social platform. So we'll keep going. Because I really wanted to hear from Dr. G. I really want to hear what he has to say about this this video. Okay. Because with the glasses, I don't know. It's just, I think it's the glasses that are throwing me off, because we're used to seeing like this other Celeste that he's with the glasses. And to me, this girl just looks so much like this girl, but so does, Celeste. It's like, well, now she's blocked there, but let me see. There's like a better picture of her. I don't know. They just look so much alike. I mean, I would probably believe it if this girl told me she was this girl right here with the big glasses. I don't know. I can't really see her face. If she told me she was 18, 19, I might believe her with the big glasses on her face. But we're going to hear what Dr. G has to say about all this. And he just came out with this like right before the live. So let's hear what he has to say. and I'll try not to interrupt him too much. But don't forget to hit the like button. I'm going to hit the play button. Here we go.
Hey everybody, Dr. G here. I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist as well as a body language expert, and today we're going to be analyzing the behavior and body language of singer and songwriter David. Before we get started with this, a couple of quick things. One, I wanted to make sure you know this is not a psychological evaluation of any kind. These are just my opinions. In addition to that, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right, let's go. So for anybody unfamiliar with this case, I'm going to give you a quick rundown so you can understand the context of the clip we're getting ready to watch. On September 8th, 2025, the dead body of Celeste Rivas was found in the front trunk of David's Tesla. Now, she had been missing. She was a runaway since April 5th, 2024. At that time, she was 13. She would have been 15 when her body was found. In August of this year, the Tesla had been found sitting for an excessively long period of time and was ultimately towed. There have been a number of conflicting details. Some say the body was found dismembered. Others say it wasn't. There have also been reports that it was wrapped in plastic. The one thing that everybody agrees on in the investigation is that this was a homicide. That being said, David has not been charged. He has not been arrested, at least not at this point. We're going to talk about why I think that is at the end of this video. But there are a number of very strange coincidences. Now, years ago, way before anything happened to Celeste Rivas, David wrote a song, and actually his most popular song, Romantic Homicide. He's also had some particularly strange imagery in some of his videos. One of them where they're throwing a dead body in the trunk of a car. There's been lyrics in the songs where he's talking about murdering somebody in the back of his mind. There's so many strange coincidences with this. Now, something that the internet has done, which the internet tends to be very good at, they have researched and found any potential connection to David and Celeste Rivas. Now, keep in mind, she would have been 13 years old when she went missing, and she may have known David even before then. Former teachers reported that he, in fact, is aware that there was a relationship, or he alleges there was a relationship between David and Celeste Rivas, which would be a very serious charge given that David is an adult. Now, if I was to cover everything, it would probably take an hour because there is so much information. But what we're going to be looking at today is Celeste Rivas and David on a live stream. We're going to be doing a body language analysis. I can tell you what it is that I'm seeing. And just to complicate things a little bit further, there are reportedly 2 people with the name Celeste. There's also a 23-year-old with the name Celeste. According to Court TV and TMZ, this is Celeste Rivas, the girl who was found in the Tesla. This is a very brief clip from a live stream. Let's just jump right in. I'll talk about what we see, and then we'll talk about it some afterwards as well.
I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
All right, so let's look at some of the body language. First, we're going to look at David. Let's watch his body language right here.
I media trained you.
So as you can see, David has his hand on Celeste's shoulder. Now, what I want you to keep in mind with this is this can mean a number of different things. Sometimes it can be a way to show closeness, but it can also be a subtle means of control depending on the type of relationship. One thing I want you to also keep in mind is that this was not a private moment. They are comfortable showing themselves as close, portraying themselves as close in front of other people. And while this body language alone is not enough to say specifically the nature of the relationship or if it was an inappropriate relationship, this does indicate that they are more than just casual acquaintances. This is not the type of body language that you would typically show with a casual acquaintance.
I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
Now, you see how he withdrew his lips after he said, I media trained you, and said that's controversial? Withdrawing of the lips is sometimes trying not to say something. In other words, I think this is actually a reaction to what he just said. Maybe that was an impulsive thing to say. Maybe that's something that he regrets saying. But the withdrawal of the lips, oftentimes we do that when we're either trying not to say something or even regretting that we just did say something.
I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
I'm curious about her fashion choices, whether the hoodie and the glasses were her idea, whether that's how she always dressed when she was around him, if there was the psychological desire to stay hidden, or if there was a very literal desire to obscure her identity to some degree. Now, also keep in mind, if you look at the comments over here, David Epstein flight list. So there is some implication that I suppose that the people that are watching this recognize that there is something not normal about this dynamic, that she is too young to be talking to David in a situation like this.
It's controversial of kids.
So what was bleeped out was that she was making reference to it being controversial that he's committing assault.
It's controversial of kids.
So watch the way he looks at the audience. So he looks at the computer, thinks about what's happening right now. She's basically being her age, trying to be funny, making jokes. And you see how he lets go of her and leans away. This is an automatic reaction. It's creating distance at that point because she thinks it's all funny. But I think that there's an immediate reaction of him that he needs to gain distance from that. There's actually discomfort there from him, despite the fact you see him smiling. And his eyes are closed. Another thing that we do when we are uncomfortable. See, and then he looks down, puts his hand up almost like he's going to cover his face. Now, I know that he literally can't cover his face. That doesn't really do any good. But showing that automatic reaction of, I don't want to be seen right now. She's covering her mouth because to her, this is all a joke. This is a kid here, and she's acting normal for her age. And from what I've read, they actually muted the mic at this time. That's why you're not hearing anything right now.
I did kind of think that too whenever I did watch this video, that the laughing could be like, because of her age, those two girls just look so much alike. And it's like, did he bring in the new Celeste because he knew he was about to be busted with this one? So he was trying to do like a, little reverse there. I wonder what she has to say.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good.
Now, also watch his hand right here. See, now he points at the screen. Now he's feeling defensive. We tend to point when we're feeling a little bit more aggressive, a little more frustrated. So as he's doing this, he's basically trying to be stern and saying like, hey, nobody needs to pay attention to this or something to that effect.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything.
And if you look at the position of the way that they're sitting with each other, she's leaning close to him, so she clearly feels close to him. He's leaning back towards her. We can't fully glean the nature of the relationship, but we can say there clearly is closeness. That seems very, very clear.
There was no ring on her finger there. Like in all the pictures that it said like David or something like there, and then it had the ring.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete.
And you can see she's making faces. I think that she's just playing along with the fact that this is being live streamed. I don't think she's taking this very seriously. And David is being playful as well. But it does seem to be there is more legitimate discomfort coming from him. She doesn't seem uncomfortable at all. She just seems to be playing around. He seems quite uncomfortable right now.
Guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything goes. Everything.
Now let's take a second to look at what some of the comments.
Now somebody was recording that, right? You know that. Someone was video recording on their phone already, and then as soon as they heard delete, they ran to their phone like, oh, please tell me I'm recording.
Comments are to see what the observations were from the audience. Because, like I said, this is a very brief clip. This audience is someone that's going to know David better, and I'm curious what else they have to say.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh
Island
my!
trip.
See, someone said cancel. Public statement from David's girl.
Delete everything. Delete.
End stream. Nah, she's cooked. So people are obviously joking, but at the same time, I think that there's some real concern about what people saw here. There's going to be a noticeable downgrade in quality because it's been impossible to find this footage. So this part actually comes from Court TV, but it does continue the rest of the live stream.
Oh, yo, wait.
Oh, look at answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer.
Which
that.
one?
And you can see on the right, if you're just looking at what's being said, caught you 4K, don't get canceled, dog, caught. People clearly at least believe that something that is not so great is going on here, something worthy of being caught for.
Which one? It was good to have a big fan.
You can also see they're not sitting as close right now. There's a little bit more distance between them. So it could be that he's feeling more careful after what just happened.
Oh, thank you, Mitochondria.
I gotta stop with him if you even. We need to delete this.
Maz, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too?
Now you hear how quietly he's speaking right now. Now he's somebody who's been big and bombastic and loud. So now he's saying, can we delete this stream? When people are trying to hide, they tend to be a little bit quieter. So at this point, he may be very serious as he's saying, can we delete this stream?
Maz, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too?
And then you see The lips get tucked in again. Once again, that's when someone is trying either to not say something or is regretting something that they said. So if you look at this right here, towards the end of this video, they're sitting further apart. He appears to be, from what I would gauge, is much more uncomfortable than he did when this started. All right, we'll go ahead and stop here. Hopefully this is helping you better understand some of the behavior and body language that we saw. Now, I'm sure many people out there are thinking, why hasn't David been arrested yet? And that, first of all, he hasn't been arrested. He hasn't been charged, but that's likely because they don't have probable cause yet. In other words, reasonable grounds. I know you may be going, there's clearly all sorts of crazy evidence that they've been together or that they've been near each other, but that doesn't change the fact that from a legal standpoint, all of the art that he's written, all of the music that he's written, will that be used in a trial if he is arrested? Maybe, but that is not going to be sufficient for probable cause. Just because a body was found in his car, I know you would think automatically that would actually get somebody arrested. Not necessarily, not till they could actually link David to a crime. So they're not going to arrest him until they have probable cause, if they ever do. And I could expect that if they arrested him too soon, that would completely mess up any possible trial. So if David is ultimately arrested, if he's ultimately charged with this, it may actually take a while, and he may never ultimately get arrested because the body apparently is so degraded that it's going to take months to find out the actual cause of death. That is still considered undetermined, other than they believe that it was a homicide. Now, if you have any other thoughts, please let me know in the comments below. And if there's anything else you want me to analyze, I am also open to that. There's so much information out there about this. There's so much more to analyze, and I plan to do more. But if there's anything specific, please let me know. Last thing before we get finished up is I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right.
Let me put his link into the chat again. I was trying to see if there's anything else out there and see what was trending, but I don't know. It looks like it's everything pretty much that I told you guys. What's this? Someone's saying they done found Amelia Earhart's plane again. We just heard this last year. Don't talk unless you found it. What's this? Okay. Oh, no, that's something that was a while ago. I will put in his name and see if there's anything in Twitter or on X. I don't see anything, so I don't see anything that we haven't went over. Who is this person that keeps, oh my God, like every other post, it's David's innocent. You're not going to make me say David's guilty. And it's like every 2 minutes it's this person. I don't know who they are. But if there is anything that comes up, I'll make sure I, come out with a video. Okay, I'll have to look into this. Okay. Well, I think that's all I've got for you for tonight. I don't know. I don't know what Justin's saying. What are you talking about, Justin? Yeah, we went over the new TMZ video. They were just saying pretty much what we were just saying during the live. That, Damn. Well, if I could, I wouldn't. I'm like, I wouldn't. But anyway, I think that's all I got for you for tonight. And then we went over the Dr. Grande video too that he just came out with a few hours ago. So, and then I see that maybe his manager might have said some stuff. So I'm going to look into that. I'm going to get on TikTok and see if he's on there. Like because I looked him up yesterday and he didn't have any videos that were like unprivated. So I don't know. Okay. I'll just read the chat. Well, thank you guys all for being here tonight. I appreciate it. I will be back either with a video or a live tomorrow. Make sure you watch either one of those. And I feel like there's something else I want to tell you, but I guess not. I guess that was it. Okay. So his manager did make a statement. Okay. Then I'll make sure I'm going to read this and then I'll put it out for you guys too. And see what he has to say. So, okay. I will be back tomorrow. I hope you guys all have a great evening. Stay, safe out there. Keep your doors locked. Keep your windows locked. Everything locked. There's a lot of crazy people out in the world, But thank you guys all for being here. Who raised me? I don't know. No, my mom and dad raised me. I had the best parents ever. I'm 2 crazy kids, But thank you guys for being here. I know I asked, but do I say that every day on YouTube, Blue Frog? I do. I do. I do say that all the time to people. I'm like, who raised you? And then I think my parents up above. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I do appreciate it. Thanks, mods, for being here and helping me out. I do appreciate that too. And if you guys do want to become a member, the link is still pinned at the top. And if I don't see you tomorrow, have a wonderful day tomorrow. And I'll make sure I at least have a video out for you guys. So either be a live or a video. We'll one or the other. So if I come on earlier, you may see me earlier. But I will see you guys all tomorrow. Have a wonderful night. Bye, guys.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We gonna light it up. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt.